Internet, Eric here. Finally made it to the end of my Friday the 13th retrospective series here on my channel. Because after 10 original films, crossover with Freddy Krueger, I've made it to Friday the 13th, the remake, reboot, reimagining, re-whatever, that came out in 2009. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I do discuss plot spoilers, specific scenes, and with the Friday the 13th series, which is known for the kills, I'll probably spoil a few of those as well. Basic plot, because it's basic like most of the other movies. We start out and we see the end of the original movie. We see Mrs. Voorhees she's stalking the final girl. She gets decapitated. Jason sees it. Blah, blah, blah. Present day, we're following a group of early 20s. I'm not going to say teens. They're in the woods. They're looking to go camping. Eventually, they're in Jason's domain. Jason kills every one of them but one. Then we go to 6 weeks later, and the one girl who was taken by Jason, which I'll get to why, her brother, Clay, I think his name is. He's played by Jared Padalecki from Supernatural and House of Wax remake. He's searching for his sister, Whitney. She's been missing, blah, blah, blah. While he's going from place to place, putting up missing posters, he bumps into this group of people who are going to the asshole guy. His parents have a cabin or a fancy house in the woods. They're going to hang out and party. Of course, Jason gets involved, blah, 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 all while they're trying to rescue the sister. That's it. Wow. This isn't really, I think, a remake. A lot of people, it's always going to be known as the Friday the 13th remake. It's not necessarily a remake because they have different parts or nods, or Easter eggs, or whatever you would say, from parts 1, 2, and 3. But we'll get to that. First off, let's talk about the characters. Jared Padalecki, he's very likable. I like him in Supernatural, and I'd seen this before I saw Supernatural. He's very likable. You do know that he wants to find his sister. She's been missing for 6 weeks. I guess she was their mother's caregiver, and he knows he's very concerned because she passed away, and Whitney, his sister, didn't show up for the funeral, so you believe that he wants to find her. He bumps into the other group of people, I'll just say, because they're not teenagers. We have, what's her name? I don't know her name. I don't know her character name, but we have Daniel Panabaker. I also saw her in Piranha 3 Double D. She's the girlfriend of the asshole character. She's very likable. She's very sweet. She sympathizes with the Clay character, wanting to help him find his missing sister. And they have a good chemistry. It's not a romantic chemistry, which I like. I mean, because if it was one of those, oh, I just met you for 2 hours and I'm going to fall in love with you, I wouldn't have cared. But she doesn't. She seems concerned. She wants to help his cause. Those are the only memorable characters in here for the most part, because you have the asshole guy, her boyfriend, played by, I think, was it Travis Van Winkle. He's the stereotypical. He's kind of like Melissa in Part 7, where she was the bitch, and you couldn't wait till Jason killed her, and you just got that feeling. Because she did it so well. She was bitchy, but she had a certain way about the way she acted. You kept wanting to watch her and see what she'd do next. Here, this guy, he sucks. He has no likable qualities. You don't want to see him on screen because, I mean, he does a good job playing that character you want to hate, but you just don't want to see him on screen anymore. Just the way he acts towards everybody. His girlfriend, his girlfriend's friends there, like he's always complaining about them messing up the cabin. When we first meet them, they're in a convenience store, and Clay is he's asking to put up missing posters, for Whitney. And the first time we see Travis Van Winkle, the asshole or whatever, he's saying, hey buddy, you're not going to buy anything, can you get out of line? And then it's just, he does a good job of making you want to hate him right away, but maybe he does too good of a job making you want to hate him because you don't want to see him on screen anymore. Um, and then when he does get that death scene, it's great. I mean, he gets impaled on the back of a tow truck, I think, and the tow truck drives away. But that's the second part of his death. The first part is so brutal and cool that I won't spoil, but I love it. He does get his just desserts. The only problem is you hate him so much that you just want him to die right away. The rest of the group are pretty much throwaways. You got the two blonde couple that want to party. You got the blonde hot chick who's there to bang Travis Van Winkle's character. And then you got the black guy and the Asian guy. Asian guy is Aaron Yo. I liked him in Disturbia. I take or leave him. He can be really funny at times, but at other times he's just like the annoying kid who just wants to get high and get drunk. So, good and bad. Not horrible. You don't want him to die right away because of how bad he is. That's more the jock character. And then we got the black guy who could be likable, but the first time we meet him, they have to have him make 2 jokes based on his race. The first one's fine because, they drive up, they're at the gas station. Van Winkle tells the black kid, he's like, hey, can you pump the gas? I'll go pay for it. And he says, what, because I'm black? You mean I gotta pump the gas? That was fine. But then within 5 minutes later, he says how he's working on music and stuff like that, and someone assumes it's rap, and then he says, what, because I'm black, I can't like country? And then she's like, oh, I'm sorry, what do you do? I do rap. A little forced. And then, of course, he's high and horny, and he wants to jerk off. There's a scene which I won't really explain too much, but let's just say he wants to jerk off. He can only find like a Sears catalog, and instead of going to the bathroom, he's going to do it out in the living room instead, where people can look. Stupid scene. But he's got a great death too. The axe and the pain and the torture. So you don't hate him and Aaron Yu's character, but they're not used properly. We got Whitney, the sister who is taken hostage by Jason because when her and her boyfriend were going around the woods, they found a locket that was Mrs. Voorhees, and inside was a picture of Jason as a child and Mrs. Voorhees as a young woman. She looked like Mrs. Voorhees, so Jason took her because she reminded him of her mom. Kind of a dumb plot line, but her acting was okay. She was fine. She was likable. She had good chemistry with her group of people. And, her friends are hit and miss. No one really cares. So the main characters are either very likable, kind of meh, or that blonde dude, Travis, that you just want to kill. So characters are okay. Let's talk about Jason. Derek Mears as Jason is fantastic. He's one of my favorite Jasons because he runs, so he's extra scary. He is agile. He's a hunter. Think of it this way. One of my favorite deaths is when he captures America something. She's in Bitch Slap. America Olivio. Even though her name is spelled out America, she corrects people. It's America. She's one of the sex crazed ones. Her and her boyfriend are banging. And he captures her and he puts her in a sleeping bag and he's got it tied to a tree, but it's over the campfire, and he's using her as bait to bait the other people out to save her so Jason can kill her. So he is like a hunter. Watch First Blood, with Sylvester Stallone, and then picture Jason Voorhees. Jason Voorhees is John Rambo in First Blood, in the woods, doing these traps, hunting people down one by one. I love it. I love the way his body moves. He's very methodical. He's got a presence about him on screen. Derek Mears, the way he moves, it's like, everyone praises Kane Hodder for his body language. Derek Mears is fantastic. Jason is scary again. He's not this slow-moving giant, and I loved it. One of the best Jasons. I love how they show how Jason gets from place to place, because a lot of the older films get shit because, you know, Jason just kind of appears here, appears there. Well, Jason has underground tunnels under the lake or under the campground area. I love that. It's realistic as how he can get from here to there without them knowing it. He's got booby traps set up like with ringing bells. It's really cool. It's a fun new idea that kind of explains a little bit of the continuity problems in the past films. The deaths are great. I mentioned Travis Van Winkle's death was really good. The sleeping bag over the campfire. We get, you know, Chewie's death. Chewie is Aaron Yu. His death is pretty brutal. The black guy's death with the axe. Some of them are just kind of throwaways, you know, a stabbing, an arrow to the head, because like I said, Jason's a hunter, like John Rambo. There's a couple surprise deaths that I did not see coming, and I really liked it. That helps with the film. You think this person's going to make it to the end, and out of nowhere, gone. Loved it. Marcus Nispel directed this. He directed the reboot or whatever of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He's got fantastic shots. I love a lot of the wide shots. I love a lot of... There's one when the blonde pops her head out of the water and she sees Jason in the background. Fantastic shot. One of my favorite shots is we go out from the inside of the window, you know, of the teens or whatever. They're worried what's going to happen. And then you pan up to Jason just slowly standing on the roof. And I don't know what type of shot it is. I'm not a filmmaker. But just like this angle of him standing on the roof, just peering over them. And then Derek Mears just quickly, swiftly turns around and walks away like he's going to do, you know, he knows that he's got to do something else to get these. There's lots of great reveals of Jason. You know, people you just see him standing right behind them. I love how a lot of times Marcus Nispel focuses on Jason's face, you know, with the mask. Like when he grabs one of the blondes and he's like covering her mouth like that. And then Marcus Nispel focuses right on Jason's face, and you can see Derek Mears, his brow moves a little bit, his eye pokes up, so you see the rage as he's, you know, trying to keep this girl quiet before he takes her out. Great filmmaking. I really like it. And it shows because I'm a big fan of the Texas Chainsaw remake, and the way Marcus shot that makes me really enjoy the way he shot this. It's really, really well done. I like how when we first introduced to Jason, he's got the sack over his head, like from part 2. Jason eventually gets the hockey mask here. Kind of a cheesy way, nothing special, nothing great, nothing horrible. But I like how it's not really like a potato sack, like how it is in the... Does it show it on the back here? No. But it's not really a potato sack like it was in like part 2. It's more just like a towel wrapped around his head, and he looks more menacing there, you know. I really enjoy that. There's another character that I didn't really like, was like the stoner kid that works on the farm that Jason kills to get the hockey mask from. But I love the look of him. And then, you know, Jason is just so forceful. We'll go back to Derek Mears. Like, instead of him like just swinging an axe, you know, at a person, or the kid runs away and Jason power walks, instead Jason, who is not supernatural in this movie, I like this. Instead, Derek Mears takes the axe and he launches the fucking thing to get the kid. That is something we don't see. We don't really see that from Jason, and it just makes Jason more scary, more realistic in a Friday the 13th film. Makes him a great killer. Score is nothing decent. I don't know if Harry Manfredini did the score. Doesn't say. It says music by Steve Jablonsky, so I guess not. What is funny is the story of this is written by the same people who did Freddy vs. Jason. If you saw that review of mine, I didn't care too much for the characters. And it shows because the characters are pretty hit and miss here, but I love the Jason stuff. Just like in Freddy vs. Jason, I hated the characters, but I love the Freddy and Jason stuff. Here they have help because the story was also written by Mark Wheaton. So I think Mark probably helped the other two guys realize, let's bring it in, guys. You know, let's work on this because the characters aren't as bad here as they are in Freddy vs. Jason. What else? I like how there's a scene where Clay is, he finds this old shack, that some lady lives in, and he's trying to look for his sister, and he's putting up posters. So he asks her, hey, my sister's been missing. Have you seen her? And she just flat out says, your sister ain't missing. She's dead. If she's in his territory, she's gone. So it does make Jason seem kind of like an urban legend boogeyman, too. So I like that. They still have the, hey, Camp Blood, don't go in there type of thing, type of feel from the earlier films in this way without telling that story once again. I really like that. This movie it's a Friday the 13th movie. It's a lot of fun, but it's not fun in the way like Part 6 is fun with the cheesiness and stuff like that. I really, really recommend, like in the end, highly recommend Friday the 13th from 2009. So much fun. Like I said, well, here's another thing. One thing I was going to mention. The sex scene, because eventually Travis Van Winkle hooks up with the hot blonde. And as good as that blonde looks naked, they go the comedy route because the whole time she's naked and she wants to film it, and because she's a nympho or whatever. He takes you out by making it comical, saying about how stupendous her breasts are and how they're perfect, and this and how the video better not go on the internet and this and that. It's a dumb scene. I really hate it. I mean, Friday the 13th is known for the sex and violence, and this one is just cheesy as hell and stupid, and I hate it. But the chick's hot, so we'll give it that. But the good outweigh the bad so much here. Great Jason. The lead characters are very likable. Some characters are meh. I only hated Travis Van Winkle. The deaths are great. Like I said, the sleeping bag and the axe and Travis Van Winkle's death, which I won't spoil the first part of. Chewie's death, Aaron Yu. Great kills. Great shots by Marcus Nespel. I love how the opening where we're seeing what happened to Mrs. Voorhees and the final girl. It's in black and white because it says Friday, 1980. I love how we actually, there's that story, did Jason really see his mother beheaded? We see Jason in the woods watching this happen. So we don't know how much time has taken place between Jason drowning and Mrs. Voorhees going, crazy. So did Jason drown maybe like a week or two ago? Makes it more believable. We don't know the time frame, which is great because Jason drowned in like the 50s. No, more than 1946. Jason either drowned in the 50s or the 60s. I don't fucking remember. But then part 1 takes place in like 1979, 1980. So Jason's been missing that whole time. Here, with Jason still being a kid, watching this all happen, the time frame is much more smaller, much more believable, and it's easier to run with. So you got that. You got like I said, great Jason. Overall, okay, if not good characters. Great deaths. Great shots. Great new things thrown in with the tunnels and stuff like that. And there's some more. But I highly, highly recommend Friday the 13th. Reimagining from 2009. Great time. I don't know where, now that I'm done with the Friday the 13th movies, I don't know a placement for everything, and I'm not going to get into it because a lot of times they change. But this one is definitely up there. Check it out. So, that's it. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, share, click the bell, comment below, or don't. It's okay with me. After this, I got the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, and then I'm finally done with Freddy and Jason. We'll be getting to more requests, more you hate it, I don't, more is it worth the hate, is it worth the hype. Me and the wife had some cartoon commentaries coming out. We have some more dual reviews. I'm going to take a break from a lot of series lately, so that'll be fun, and get some more random content out there for you guys. So, yeah, in the end, I will say, give it a shot. Cheers, and you have perfect nipple placement.